Greetings and God bless. So happened to listen to this song by Courtney Love, "Take Everything," and what I think is interesting is the left, like my friends who are on the left, refuse to hear my concerns about forced injections and um, just this narrative that I think is anti-freedom. And yet these same people are totally into like punk rock or whatever, which is really, aggravation. It's like it's very challenging, and it's a blast to the senses. And I just think it's a double standard, because they don't want my friends who like punk rock or whatever, you know uh, they don't want to hear me say I don't believe in injections. I don't believe in climate change. Uh, so it's okay for somebody to be screaming on a microphone in a loud concert about their dope addiction or something like that. But me texting or emailing or talking, that excommunicates me from my liberal friends and family. And anyways, I was listening to Courtney Love's Violet. Sorry, it's the song Violet by her band Hole, and the chorus is "Go on, take everything. I want you to go on, take everything. I want you to." And I just feel like poetically, like that kind of, I mean, I don't want the left to take away my immune system. I don't want the left to take away my breathing. But that's what they want to do. I don't want the left to break my crib form plate, which is the blood brain barrier and the autoimmunity of my brain. I don't want the left to do that. But the left wants to. The left thinks it's entitled to breaking my crib form plate and to suffocating me and to poisoning my bloodstream, which I believe is poisoning. I believe that's my belief. And those on who are Big Brother, I'm not I'm not a doctor. I'm just saying my belief system is I don't take heroin. I don't inject stuff into my bloodstream. Whether the drug dealer wants to or whether the left wants me to. I don't believe in it. I don't believe in tattoos. I don't believe in piercings. Okay? So I certainly am not going to believe in some weird ingredients. I wouldn't even inject water, like I don't believe in it. It's not my belief. And if you have a superstition of tattooing yourself, of piercing yourself, of suffocating yourself, of breaking your crib form plate, breaking your children's crib form plate, breaking your grandchildren's crib form plate so their blood brain barrier is broken, that's your superstition. You get to practice that. That's what people throughout millennia and other cultures have done. They practiced superstitions. And I get to have my own belief system. You can have your superstition, whoever you are. If you want to inject heroin, you do it. Like, but that you don't get to do that to me. You don't get to put piercings in my face or body. You don't get to put ingredients in ink in my body. I don't want you to. I don't want to be tattooed. I don't want to be tracked and traced, with every iron molecule of my body. So uh, it's does anybody relate? Does anybody find this contradiction of the left, where their leftist friends and family totally will listen to somebody ranting and screaming and shrieking, and they'll love it, and but then if you're just like, I don't want to wear a mask, I don't want to suffocate, I don't want to get pierced in my bloodstream, I don't believe in climate change, like, and you're just saying this in a conversational tone, and like, do you get excommunicated? Do you get shunned? Do people fly off the handle like a crazy person? But they'll be listening to crazy people flying off the handle, 24 hours a day, but you are not allowed. Like, I'm tired of this double standard of where I have to walk on eggshells because somebody's going to flip out on me. And the thing is, like, like I'm getting this like emotional blackmail, like manipulation thing, where I feel like I have to protect everybody from my strongly held belief. And it's not like I'm saying everybody should eat an omnivore diet. Like, I'm not saying vegans should become carnivores. Like, uh, I'm not trying to intrude on anybody else's life choices. I just want to have my own life choices. And yet the left is furious about that. The left is furious that I want to determine my own life. And I'm like, what is going on here? Because the left is also like, yeah, and women should be able to have abortions, and people should be able to have sex change operations at the age of 2. But I don't get to have, like, as a 50-some-year-old woman, adult, who's self independent. I don't get to have my opinion about, I don't want to be pierced. I don't want to have my crib broken. I don't want to be suffocated. I don't get a choice for that. I don't have the dignity. I don't have the right to say that in my friends or family's presence, or else, like, they're gonna flip out and beat me up or something. Like, what is going on here? Like, this is the reality that the rest of us who's not bought into the narrative, that's what we live in. We have to, like, be in constant vigilance to hide what we truly believe. And I blame those who have leverage, who know better, who are truthers, but they've been silent and they've been ambiguous to other people, to the crazy leftists. And so those who have more self-esteem and leverage have left the rest of us who are a wreck and don't have good self-esteem and lack leverage. Like, we're having to fight this battle from the from the gutter, and nobody really cares what somebody speaks from the gutter. Nobody really cares. Oh yeah, a few people might think it's an inspiring story or something like that, but it has no influence. So yeah, I really resent the intelligent people in my in my family and my friends groups who have just let humanity down, and they are so um, against hearing a different perspective, and they're so against being held accountable. And I can't help but want to hold people accountable. And like, the next thing that's coming is RFK Jr., who's pro injection, and I have a lot of friends who think he's the one. And I'm like, he's pro injection and he believes in climate change, and he said something like, people who don't believe in climate change should be in prison. And I'm like, this next level of insanity is going to happen. And I think it's all part of this, again, fracturing people who made it through the lockdowns without getting the injection, and now they're trying to fracture the people, um, to another level. So yeah, I mean, and I wish, there's all these leftists who think that they're doing social justice for the LGBT community or Black people, but these same leftists totally could care less about poor people, could care less about vulnerable white people. Like, these leftists who are white, heterosexual, well off, well educated, who claim to be compassionate, I think they are using poor white people as a whipping boy. I think they're glad there's poor white people so they can be attacked, so they can be lynched. I think that's what's going on. I think the white left that is pushing all of these leftist agendas, which are really hurting white Americans. I think these leftist white upper class people are sacrificing, literally doing a human sacrifice of poor white people who are homeless, addicted, mentally ill, or just poor. And I think there's this in the back of their minds. They're like, yeah, we got to make a sacrifice of white people, and yeah, might as well do the poor white homeless addict, mentally ill white person. It's just, we got to do population control. I think that's what's going on in the back of liberal upper class white people's minds. Because who's been hurt the most with the lockdowns and the after effects? It's poor people, because just different stores have closed down or they're understaffed. Services are either no longer or they're short staffed. There's delays like Greyhound or airplanes. There's been a big effect. And yeah, when somebody's rich, they can just rent a hotel for their 3-day delay or something like that. And they can afford to buy a $20, beverage at Starbucks. And like they've got money to soften the blow of delays and whatnot. But poor people are, you have to pay like way too much money for a vending machine beverage, or sometimes there's not even a vending machine that works, or whatever, no bathrooms. So it's really, it's so, we're just seeing how um, insulated like white leftists are, and how self-satisfied, and how unthinkingly selfish they have been. And I think they want poor white people to suffer, because I think they think poor white people are the problem. I think classist, upper class educated white people think that poor people are the polluters, that poor people are the racists, that poor people cause climate change, that poor people voted for the guy with the name T. And so they should be punished. I think that's what's going on. And I really think everything is really about class. I don't think it is about colors, uh, or even gender. I think because if like you notice the BLM founders, since they've got millions, you don't see them being activists. They're buying mansions. I think if everybody who's a BLMer or Antifa or the alphabet, if they all get their blood money, they go away, as we have seen. They go off. They're buying mansions. They're buying airplanes. They're, like with Ukraine, people are buying villas and airplanes. Luxury. So all these crooks buy luxury items to live this luxury lifestyle. And so it proves it's not about race or war or enemies or, um, you know, sexuality. It's about money. It's about class. And I'm upset at white educated people with leverage that have thrown poor Americans, like impoverished and vulnerable Americans, under the bus, while they're going off and living the good life. So that's my little rant for the moment. What do you guys think? Thanks for watching. God bless.